Hello, everyone. I'm Peter Freer. I am founder and CEO of Play Attention, and I welcome you here today. I actually started Play Attention over 30 years ago, and it is now um, distributed globally in 10 languages because ADHD is a worldwide phenomenon, and it is happening everywhere. And you're probably here because you are very, very interested in finding out more about procrastination. Why is it so hard to start? And that's what we're going to be doing today. And the technology you will also see today, play attention technology, um, is also used for senior citizens now. We use it in automobiles. I work with major automobile companies to use the same technology. And even you'll be seeing something come out in the very near future. If you had seen the movie Up, anybody seen the movie Up? It's a Pixar film. It's animated. If you have kids, chances are you saw it. If you have seen that, raise your hand. You saw in the movie the dogs actually wore collars. We are making those collars. Um, it's cool to have a dog talk to you. So that's what, a little background about me. I've been in this for, almost 40 years in the field of neurotechnology and working with people on things like procrastination and many other executive function skills. So this is something simple that we're talking about, but it can feel incredibly hard. That means things like starting homework, or it's you or your child. You could be you starting laundry. It could be starting a work project. It could be, finally answering the email that you've been thinking about for 3 days, or starting the thing that you actually want to do, but somehow still keep avoiding, right? This is a matter of executive function. We'll talk about that quite a bit. I want you to be able, at times, I'm going to ask you to interact a bit because when you contribute, I really want to hear you. You want to be heard. I'm certain that's one of the reasons you're here. Does somebody hear me? Do they understand how bad this is? And yes, I do. And I do want to hear you. One of the things that will help you specifically during this webinar is to just turn off any distracting devices. Hopefully you don't turn off the webinar, but if you are trying to answer email or if you're trying to take texts and have the TV going, and settle and pay attention to the webinar today, because it's really important that you attend, engage, so that you get the most out of it, because we're going to be giving you tips and strategies that will significantly help you. And you can practice these on your own. I want you to understand we are here to hear you today, okay? So we want to make some things clear before we even start so that we are all on the same page. And so there is a lot of buzz going around here that you'll hear from different parenting groups. And it is not that they're lazy. I've even heard teachers say, he's just lazy, right? But if your child actually has ADHD and struggles with this, you got to understand it is not about laziness. It is not at all. It's not a character flaw. It's not a lack of caring. So I want to wipe those off the slate right off the bat. They do care. They don't have a bad character. They're not lazy. It is a problem of executive function, right? And we're going to discuss that. And if you're not initiated, I'll go into what executive function actually is. So for many people with ADHD, executive function is a challenge. The brain may know exactly what needs to be done, but still struggles to begin it, organize the first step, manage their emotions around the task, stay with it until it's completed, or come back even after getting a little distracted. Does this resonate? Does this make sense to either you personally or in something you've observed in your child or your students or your clients, right? The brain just doesn't really know how to get this underway. So we're going to talk about what we can do to change it and to help you. And this, obviously, like I said, is going to be interactive. So I'm going to ask you to reflect and answer and contribute at certain times here because we want you to walk away with tools that you're going to be able to use today. All right. This is one of those times you should interact with me, okay? Let's do start with a quick check-in. Where is it that you or your child gets stuck? When a task feels really hard, where is it at getting started, just knowing what step comes first? Is it trying to stay focused? Is it finishing the last part of it? Is it bouncing back from a distracting or a distraction in the room? The dog walks in, I get distracted. My phone starts ringing. I get a text, an alert for my text. So if you would, can you put in a one of the numbers, any one of these that tells us where you particularly get stuck? All right. So enter them into the chat, the group chat. I'll take a look so I can get kind of a focus on where you are. Hmm. Yeah, this is, well, a lot of you say all of them. Number six, some have, sets 1 and 4, 1, 3, 5, 2. But these all, there's, well, you guys are great. Absolutely. Yes. So one of the things we noticed, and thank you for answering, by the way, it's excellent. One of the things that we notice is that we have a common theme here. All of these things are characteristic, right? This is exactly why this topic matters and why we have so many people here today. So, you know, when you somehow understand that all of these things contribute, it's not one thing. It's not laziness, right? We'll go back to that. It's not lack of caring. These are skills that you have to have. And with ADHD, it means that some of these skills may be lacking for me. All right. So very often it means I don't know how to even enter into this task. Is everybody with me? So sometimes it's not I'm lazy. I just don't even know how to get started. I don't know how to even begin this. And then you not understanding this if you have a child and you don't understand it, why can't you get started for crying out loud? It's a sheet of math problems. Let's go. And it just looks to them means not only do I not understand how to do it or I don't know how to enter it, it feels too big. I am overwhelmed. See, this is what's going on internally. They often don't have the voice for it. You just get into an argument. Is this resonating? And it's not that they are trying to fight you. They're not trying to be defiant. But my brain cannot even manage the first step to this. I'm afraid I won't do it well. Some of you have seen this part. I'm certain that when they are afraid that they're not going to do it well, they'll start on a sheet of work that they have to do, and they get so mad when they make a mistake, they'll try to erase everything, they'll crumple it up and throw it. Anyone seen this behavior? If you have, raise your hand because it is kind of the same, it's in the same field that we're talking about right now. It's a lack of skills that they need. They often will say, I am waiting internally until the pressure is high enough to force me into motion. So they wait to the very last moment. And you may find this in yourself. We let it go. If you have this problem, if you have ADHD and you procrastinate, you wait to the very last minute, and in a sheer panic, you will start the project. Panic, let me make this final statement. Panic is not a great long-term productivity plan. So we can laugh. We can smile, right? Panic, waiting till last minute, it's not a great long-term productivity plan. Is everybody with me? So this is the executive function gap that I want to speak about. Executive function is an umbrella term for a series of skills that we have to have. And if we don't have these skills, make things incredibly difficult. It's like missing rungs. Here's my intention, and here's the action on the other side of that bridge. But look at all the big holes I have to traverse if some of these skills are missing, right? It does sound very simple, but it actually requires the brain, and to finish a task, to start it and finish it, actually requires a series of brain skills that work together. I have to have task initiation, right? I have to recognize what needs to be done. I have to hold that goal in my mind, which is working memory, right? To even recognize what needs to be done is the start of planning. I have to choose the first step. I have to manage distractions, right? That's my attention. I have to manage those distractions and stay attentive to it. I have to tolerate a little bit of discomfort because doing hard work is not comfortable all the time. I have to be able to task switch, which is an executive function skill, switch from one activity to another. I have to estimate time. I have to regulate my emotions. And, I have to stay with the task long enough to make progress and finish it. So all of these, skills, and you know, it's a lot. So now if you're arguing with your child about homework, it's a very simple concept, but there are so many skills involved to do it. So when someone says, just get started, it may feel helpful to you saying it, but to the person who is stuck, it makes no difference whatsoever. It just makes them feel even more overwhelmed. And this is why today we're going to give you strategies that will help, right? Tips and strategies that will help you understand. Once we understand this, the whole reason that I'm here to help you understand it is because when we come to a deeper understanding of what's going on, number one, it will, if you're in conflict with the person that you're working with, whether it's your child, maybe your spouse, your other half, maybe your client, then once you understand it more deeply, you will understand when and how to enact strategies that are going to work. You follow? Right? That's the whole purpose for doing the webinar today. It's when you tell someone to just get started, it's like telling someone who lost their keys, I lost my keys. And then you look at them and go, just find them. Not helping. So just make certain you understand that there are certain things you can do that will help, and I'll give you those today, but certain things that you can do that will actually create conflict and make a 15-minute homework assignment turn into 2 hours with a fight attached to it. So there is a real myth about procrastination. And I want to talk to you to make certain we are separating myth from reality here. So you've got the myth on the left-hand side of the screen and the ADHD reality on the right side of the screen. And so I see this on TikTok and, oh, it's a procrastination is a time management problem. No, in a way, yes, and in a way, no, sometimes it is. But for ADHD, procrastination is more, as we just discussed. It's a lot. It's far more. It is a plethora of skills that I'm weak at or I don't have. And no matter how much you yell at me and tell me to get started, I can't do it. So what is it that we do to get them there? It's usually a mix of executive function skills that include attention, motivation, emotion regulation, planning, organization, all the things that we just discussed. This is the key, right? So if you're saying time management problem, well, it's emotion regulation strategy is what the reality is. I have to regulate my emotions so I can even get started on this. I don't want to do it. Well, it's not that. I don't know how to even enter this task. I don't even know how to begin. Defiance or stubbornness. I am overwhelmed and I'm afraid I'm just going to fail again because this has recurred. I have this fear of failure because I do it all the time and everybody yells at me for it. And so this just compounds it. So I'm now in overwhelm and now I'll start to tear up. There goes my emotion regulation. Here comes a fight. Waiting for motivation. They would love to do, they at times in their hearts want to please you so much and they can't. So waiting for the motivation is not it. Waiting for panic to force me into activation of some sort is it. But that is, as we noted earlier, previous slide, it's a poor plan. So we're to the point where we say know that shame doesn't build executive function. It just makes the next loop harder. And this is a very important slide because it shows you the loop that's involved here in procrastination, right? One, the task appears, the task is feels unclear, or it's boring for me, or it's hard, or it's stressful, right? And then we go to number two, stumper. I feel that I'm not going to finish this. I'm afraid. I'm never going to be able to do this. And then you go to number three, and I just avoid it. I will do everything in my power to avoid doing this. I will try to do every little trick in the book. My pencil tip breaks. I start petting the dog. I look at you and ask you for a snack. This sound familiar? Hand up if you are with me and you understand this. So there's avoidance there. And it can be, the task grows emotionally. It can be refusal and tears and arguing or just shutting down, closing you out. And then for adults, you go into a state of panic, right? Oh man, I've got to get that done. I've got to get it done. It's due tomorrow. Got to do it. So you panic and you try to hyper focus and get it done. And then what you turn out, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's terrible. So we need to understand all of this mechanism that's behind this because this is really key here, that all of this is happening in the background. So this is why if we're shaming them, it's just never going to work, right? It doesn't build, shame does not build executive function. It just makes it more threatening. And so we need to move, we need to reframe, and we will absolutely refocus on how to do this without using that technique. All right, no one will see you answer this. But if you would, in the chat, tell me if you understand this by saying, okay, I understand, meaning I have seen this and now I understand what I'm facing in reality here. Is everybody with me? So if you would, I'll pause for just a second. Yes. Terrific. Okay. Thank you for answering because I can't see or hear you. And when I am able to give you these strategies and give you the background of what's actually happening, I really need to know that we're on the same page. And I appreciate you answering because some of you are saying, this is my life. I totally understand. As a parent, friend, and a coach, it's personal experience. I see it. Yeah, and everyone here is in. So we're back on the same page. So perfect. Thank you so much for answering. It's really important that you get heard, but also that I hear you so I know that I'm not losing you and that you understand exactly what's going on in the background here, right? So what feeling, and we're talking now about feelings because this is huge to children and adults with ADHD. What feeling is underneath the task, right? We want to know, right, if it's cleaning a room or starting homework or whatever. What is it? Ask yourself, what feeling sits beneath that task? All right. And try to put yourself in your child's place right now, if you're a parent. If you're not a parent and you are actually trying to learn about this yourself, say it for yourself. What is it here? Is it boredom? Is it confusion? Is it overwhelm? Is it fear of messing up? Is it frustration, not knowing where to begin? I mean, there are so many in this list. Everything that we've discussed up to this point. Is it frustration, not knowing where to begin, feeling like it will take forever, feeling like it has to be perfect, otherwise I'm going to crumple it up and throw it out? You don't have to share it, but in the chat, you can share one feeling word. Okay. So, one feeling word you can put in to the chat. I'll look and see what you're saying. Oh, wow. Yes, please keep them coming. And everything from anxious to overwhelmed to boredom, everybody's picking one because you absolutely now can see through their eyes, or personally, you know this frustration, anger, yes, fear, fear of disappointing the adults, absolutely, frustration, not knowing where to start. Okay, so now that's beautiful. Can't move from the overwhelm. I'm stuck. Yeah, you people are wonderful. Thank you. So, what do we do? That's the question now, right? Excuse me. We know exactly what we have and what it feels like when it creates all of these things. That's stress, anxiety, boredom, confusion, fear, shame, frustration. What does the brain do? The brain seeks relief. The brain wants comfort. Nobody works well in discomfort. Nobody works well under anxiety or stress. So if I seek comfort, then I go to avoidance. I move away from the task itself, right? So super important. We need to, understand that avoidance gives immediate relief. And then, of course, if you're an adult in the room or the teacher in the room, you're upset and frustrated now on your own because you need this child to complete the work. So the brain gives it the okay. You don't have to be confused right now. You don't have to be bored right now. You don't have to be overwhelmed. Just avoid it. We escaped. Right? Does that now make sense to you about why they do that? And to you, it's like, oh my gosh, this child is driving me insane. I don't get it. But now you know why they do that. It's an avoidance measure. It's to feel comfortable and let the brain feel comfortable. So procrastination is not about avoiding the work. It's not really a time management problem. Sometimes it's a little involved with time management. It's often about avoiding the feeling that's attached to the work. That's why this slide is so important, right? It's very important to realize that. Um, Yeah, Barbara says this is a condition that needs to be identified by school personnel and or specialists. It's sad to see that students fall through the cracks as labeled as class interrupters. I am blessed to be participating in this Zoom. Um, and will we be able to review these slides? Yes, this webinar is being recorded and we will put it up on YouTube and you will receive a link in your email to view the recording again because we're only 7 slides in, and I have just laid a ton of information on you, but it's vital information. So you'll be sent a link in your email so that you can review this again. But absolutely, school staff, doctors, parents need to know how this feels from the inside for the other party. And some of you are here because you have ADHD yourselves, but you're identifying it already. You're saying, oh, this is me. This is my life. Well, now we're putting words to it, which is why I'm saying I need to hear from you. Because once you have that understanding, again, This allows us to move forward, right? So here's strategy number one, and this is very fun. All right, one strategy, and we call this shrinking the doorway. Now, if the whole problem looks like the vault on the left, I am never going to start it. So we have to shrink the doorway so it looks like it's manageable. I could open that door on the right. You with me? So how do we do that? So instead of saying clean your room, how many people here have tried that? Go clean your room, and you go up there and an hour later expecting something to have happened. And they're sitting on the edge of the bed playing a Game Boy or whatever, the Nintendo Switch, whatever's popular right now. They're doing that. And you're like, I asked you, come up here and clean your room. And they just, what are they doing? Avoidance. It's way too much because it looks like a bomb went off in their room already, right? So they don't even know where to get started. So instead of, say, cleaning the entire room or write that final report, you just say, I need you to pick up the dirty clothes on the floor. Just pick up the dirty clothes on the floor and put them in this bag. That's it. Start there. That is the key to getting this rolling. Don't give them the general task that is too big, can't do it, I'm overwhelmed, my brain is not equipped to it. So that's the other key here to cling to. It's not that they're fighting you, they're not defiant, they are overwhelmed, they're stressed, they want to please you, but their brain does not even have the capacity to get going. And it's not lazy. It's not defiance. It's not lack of motivation. It's not lack of caring. You see how this is all connected? This is incredibly. Pick up five things from the floor is another strategy. Just pick up five things. Let's get started. And you can stand in the doorway and they'll pick up the five things. Great, you got that? Let's go over here and grab this junk out of the corner here and we'll toss that out. That doesn't need to be here. That empty pizza box with two moldy pieces of pizza in it doesn't belong in here. You know, things like that. Clear for you if you're doing this personally. I will clear one side of my desk. I'll clear. I need to get the paperwork. I'll just clear that paperwork. Um, I'll open the document. That's one thing I can do. I'll write the title. I'll start with the title. There's one thing you can do. I'll put my name on a sheet of paper. You notice all these things that just are icebreakers, and that is shrinking the doorway. And then all of a sudden, the project doesn't look quite that big, right? So take out the worksheet, write the title on it. So read the first question. There are so many things. I'll list more here. Let me, because I have a pretty good list I put up in front of me. First step should be so small that the brain has less room to argue with it. That's key. So write down the smallest possible first step. This is really the key to the strategy. Not the ideal first step, but just a first step. Then the next impressive first step. Then the tiny, almost silly first step. For example, if the task is write the report, the first step might be open the document, right? Hey, open the document so we can, start. Just start. Let's open the document, and then we'll kid around and joke, and then the door becomes much smaller. Are you with me? You following? If the cat asks, if you say, "Help me clean the kitchen, please," um, that is way too big a vault. But if you say, "Hey, can you just pick up the silverware off the table and bring it in here, please?" That's a great start because it's not too big. If the task is help my child start homework, the first step might be let's sit at the table and open your backpack. Then we're going to take a breath. Not get your homework stuff out. Let's go. Get your paper and pencil ready. It's let's take it even simpler than that. Bring your book bag in. Right. And then you high five. You go, hey, yeah, let's just sit at the table for a second and take a breather. And then you pause. So that in itself creates momentum so you can get things done. We often wait for motivation to start, but many times motivation doesn't kick in until I've got one or two little successes under my belt. Then I'm getting motivated because now you've broken it into small parts for me that I am not overwhelmed by, I'm not anxious about, I'm not fearful of. Then I'm gaining momentum. Strategy two, the start script and the 2 minute start. Okay. I only have to do this for the first 2 minutes. Backpack, folder, first problem, open it, name it, and start it. That's it. 2 minutes. Do you see how we've got kind of a Campbell's soup recipe here? Do you remember Campbell's soup? I don't know if anybody here eats Campbell's soup anymore, but the Campbell's soup recipe is very simple. It always says, open the can, empty contents into pot, fill can with water, empty water into pot, start of a stove at low temperature or medium temperature, stir until hot, serve. So it's kind of funny, isn't it? But we're breaking it down into core constituent elements that my child can do, my student can do, my client can do, my spouse can do. And it's because there are little pieces to it. It's not overwhelming. I want to make certain we're all on the same page. Is everyone able to follow now? And so that we understand what's going on here. And if you are following, um, Berlin says getting trust, asking one small task of a child, eventually a child can feel manipulated. You know, you're going to ask for more short sentence, but for longer thought. So yeah, you need to make certain they understand that this is not trickery. Right? It's not, we're not manipulating, we're just making it easier. As a matter of fact, there's an old saying, you can't eat the elephant all at once. So if they understand the same thing that you're understanding, you're not trying to trick them. There's no manipulation involved whatsoever. We just want them to understand, this is a strategy. You break this into small parts, and they're not dumb. They'll go, oh, yeah, I get that. I can do that. So we're not going to trick them. We're not going to play games. This is just a role that we're going to show them as basically a strategy, and you can do it. And you can tell them that it's impossible to eat the elephant all in one setting. All right. Good interaction. Thank you so much. I want to make certain that, well, I got to keep moving because we've got a lot and it's still, I'm only halfway through. So we want to make certain that I keep moving at a good pace, but I really appreciate the feedback everybody is giving. Remember, give a small 2 minute start, and that's just using a timer. But again, they know you have to let them know because they're not dumb. They're highly intelligent individuals. It's the 2 minute start, and it's not eating the elephant all at once. We're going to break this down so that you can do it and that you will not feel overwhelmed. And you will help them by making them feel better. And that builds motivation. That builds the confidence to get it done. Right. So this is an entire paradigm shift. What parents can do differently. It is a paradigm shift that I'm asking you to make. No trickery, no manipulation. It's just making it into a way that they can understand it. When Campbell's gives you that soup recipe, they're not trying to manipulate you. They're just trying to break it down so that you can do it. Even if you don't cook, you can do it. Right? I'm not a cook, but I can do the Campbell soup recipe. That's what we're trying to give a child who has problems with executive function. So I want to give you this practical reframe. Instead of asking, why won't my child start? Try asking, what part of this is hard? Start. Instead of asking, you know, what's wrong with me, then you ask, what is getting in the way of me starting? If you're looking at it for yourself, right? If they just cared more, that's instead of asking that, we don't want to, because we know it's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with me. It's not a problem of caring. It's not a problem of getting started, right? You have to reframe it, relying on shame and pressure. We want to rely on structure, cues, and practice. That's what the key, right? They do care. They so desperately want to please you because you're mom and dad, right? Or you're the teacher. I want to do well. I don't want to be a failure, and I'm afraid I am. So, does the task need to be made smaller or clearer? Need to ask them. So you see the entire reframe here. And again, this is being recorded because we're presenting a lot to you. And by doing this reframe, I think you will be able to see it and tomorrow in the video. So you can always come back to this, right? There are so many questions you can ask. Is the task unclear? Is it too big? Is it distracting? Am I overloading them? Because if they have the problems in executive function that I've mentioned prior to this in the previous slides, then you know that there are things that I can do then to answer these things. So if the problem is confusion, then you provide clarity. Not ask about them caring or not. Don't it's fun to move away from. If the problem is overwhelmed, then you need to make that task smaller. They need to understand that. No manipulation, just we're not going to eat the elephant all at once. Step one of our Campbell soup recipe. As a matter of fact, if you have Campbell soup in the house, show them the recipe in the back. It's pretty simple and they'll understand it. Again, they're not dumb. They're very intelligent. Problem is boredom, then they'll need a short challenge or something that is novel to get started. If the problem is distraction, they may need the environment changed, and that you can easily do as well. Don't put them in a room with a TV or the dog comes in on a regular basis or the computers on, remove distractions. If the problem is skill weakness, then they need to practice. That's why I made play attention years ago, simply because it gives them the ability to build these skills individually by using neurotechnology. I was inspired by NASA using that, by the way. It was using it for training astronauts to be able to pay attention in ships that are where you're hyper aroused because things are going badly and your life is at risk, or you're in hypo arousal where it's boring and all I do all day is look at gauges. And I saw that they were doing it. And that's when I thought I could use all my skills to create this and work for ADHD children and adults. So remember, it's relying on skill sets. And if you don't have the skill sets, these strategies I've given you will help extremely. But you also have to help them build the skill sets, right? So you need better, when you're doing the skills, you have to give them better support, reframing your outlook on it, giving them better cues, more direct practice, and making, again, these skills as strong as possible is one of the things we do in Play Attention. I'll talk to you about that in a little bit. So this reframe is also, let's move from shame to support. Instead of asking, why won't you, ask, what skill are they missing that I can help them with? So what tiny step can I do to help them? You with me? What skill then are they lacking? Is it organization? That's exactly, all these are under executive function. Is it organization? Is it planning? Is it emotional regulation? Is it working memory? Which skill are they really weak in that is affecting the outcomes here? So you need to be able to move from the shame to understanding, and then we're able to ask the right questions now. Because here's something that I learned many years ago. Asking the wrong question will always inevitably give you the wrong answer. So now that we're on the same plane, we need to understand that if we are doing this together and we understand fully, then how do I reframe it so that they can do it? How do I understand them more so that I can help them practice the skills and give them the support they actually need? This is super. Wanting the result isn't having the skill. You can do all of these things for them to help them have better outcomes. All the things I've told you to do, you can give them better outcomes. And remember, if they don't have that skill set, you have to work on that with them. One way or the other. You're not going to get it by osmosis. It's not going to just float into their head. You actually have to practice the skill sets they need. This is the reason I invented play attention in the first place. I knew this was an executive function problem. And I knew that if I could get them to be able to control the computer screen by their brain alone using neurotechnology, that they could see it. And then I could give them these skills to practice and just learn. And it's amazing. The brain is neuroplastic, which means it will change. It will absolutely modify itself. It will rewire itself if you give it the right practice. Doesn't matter if you have ADHD. I have a student who had TBI, and we got him back to 96% of what he was after a very, very bad, severe traumatic brain injury. The brain will rewire neuroplasticity, right? This is important. Wanting the result isn't having the skill. So you're going to be able to use techniques. You're going to have a much better understanding of what is happening. So life is better. It's easier. But again, you have to be able to practice the skill, right? The way to look at this, remember, is down at the bottom. You can't reward or punish your way out of a skill gap. And by skill gap, remember the bridge that we looked at, the rope bridge with the planks missing in it. So you can't reward or punish your way out of it. That will not work. The brain needs the practice and the structure, and you have to develop that. And if you're not a professional, it's difficult to do on your own. Even as a professional, it's difficult to do. Real-time feedback to build the neurological muscle of starting, right? I love that. We use that in play attention. That's also one of the reasons that I even began this years and years ago. So I'll talk a little bit about how this actually does this. It's NASA-based, NASA-inspired technology. And it teaches executive function skills. All of the skills we talked about having, you have to practice them one way or the other. And this was tested by Tufts University School of Medicine in 3 randomized controlled studies funded by the U.S. Department of Ed, $1.5 million to fund it. And when they pulled me into Tufts University in Boston, they said, well, we just think they could practice brain training games off, that you find on the internet. I said, well, I guarantee you're not going to find the results that you're looking for. And they said, well, we think brain training is brain training is brain training. And I said, I disagree. And I said, with neurotech, they can actually see their engagement. How much engagement are they playing to a game that's on the internet? Do you know? They said, no, we obviously don't know. I said, but I do with play attention. And that's what happened in the results. The control groups got brain training games you find on the internet. The other control group got no intervention. In those studies, the play attention group, 5x improvement over those two groups in executive function, 5x improvement in attention, 4x improvement in behavior regulation, self-regulation, and 3x improvement in global school performance. Those are published in medical journals, 3 medical journals. So the data are incredibly powerful, but it's still, the basis of it is, if they don't have these skills, I can create strategies that will help us at home. Absolutely. But there has to be some way as a parent that I have to be able to give and teach these skills, right? Otherwise, it's not going to happen. You don't know when your attention drops. You don't know when you're distracted, except minutes later if you catch it finally, So it's directly connected to procrastination, because it's not just about starting. It's also about finishing, working memory, planning, organization, all of the skills that are essentially executive function are in play attention. And this is what's happening. You wear that little armband, and it looks at what your brain is doing in real time. It looks at your emotion regulation, and then you play games to increase your emotion regulation. You play games that increase working memory and increase sustained attention, and it's quite simple, right? Um, because if you do not have the skills, remember you can't shame or punish or reward someone into having the skills. You have to train the skills. We aren't going to train you just to get good at one game. We're going to train you to have a skill set. This is all about what play attention does. We are going to train someone, and it's like going to the basketball court or the tennis court. Some of you have kids in hockey, or you've been in hockey. You go and you train so that you increase your performance, not just get good at a game, but we increase our executive function. And when we increase our executive function, our performance gets better because now I have the skill sets that I need. Everybody with me on this now? If you need a demonstration of it, we can arrange for you to get a perfectly good view of it so you understand exactly what we're doing. And by the way, for those clients who are new here, I think we have so many people, we probably have current users here as well. But we have the ultimate reset button. So you have the ultimate reset, which is less academic pressure, more flexibility, perfect environment when you're in summer, summer break to get executive function strengthened. And so if you're interested in that, we can also put you in that. When the structure of school disappears, how many people here have discovered things can get chaotic at home, right? Because they sleep differently. They sleep later. They stay up later sometimes. They sleep later. Um, they have patterns that shift. Screens can take over where I am just looking at my phone all day or playing on the computer, playing, video games. And so you think you're trying to restart the day, but summer is also a great time to, strengthen executive function because you have the flexibility and the time generally, and the academic pressure is gone. So it's a really smart time to do it. And that's why, starting practice in the summer is wonderful to teach them to make their life easier, staying with the task you're teaching, following directions, managing frustration, building attention stamina, improving working memory, returning after distraction. I'm able to recover. And this is called the cognitive campout that we're doing. So if you want, you can do the ADHD summer cognitive campout. That is designed to help families in the summertime in a positive, structured, realistic way. It's not about turning your summer into school because you don't want it. Your child does not want it. It's about giving their brain a plan. Making sense? So with play attention, you can practice executive function skills in a way that's engaging, structured, measurable, and fun. And something you can reward because they're doing something that's changing their brain for the better. So the goal is pretty simple. You can use the summer to strengthen the skills your child will need when school starts again, which includes self-regulation, task initiation, time on task, follow through, confidence. It's everything we need. And for adults, using play attention. And if you have these problems yourself as an adult, you'll get a license that will allow you to use it as well as your child. So you have a consistent plan. Restart, your training and add specific tools that support your daily life as well. They're all in there. So you can join that as well. Summer Cognitive Campout gives families focused way to begin. It's customized to each person playing. So you're not going to get all the same plan. We'll customize it to each person. So it's a targeted play attention training goals for each person. You build the habits before the fall semester, support and strategies for the whole family. And it's not just about grade school children. We get so many calls in a day regarding kids who are at university who are struggling like crazy. And parents don't know what to do. You didn't do it before, right? You realized something was going on. They're falling through the cracks, but they did push through and they went on to university, right? And yet now they're at university. And it's important to realize that um, this is something that it's related to an old saying. The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The next best time is right now. Everybody with me? All right. Does it work? Isabel says, does it work in Argentina as well? Can it be done in Spanish? Good questions. And the answer is yes to both. Good questions. It's lovely that you're asking. Don't worry, it's shipped globally in 10 different languages. We'll be able to help you. Good question, though. Very good question. All right. So we also have silver minds, and I see a couple of our silver minders here today as I'm flashing through hundreds of names. I picked you out. And the silver minders, we now are going nationally with a program for seniors who want to maintain cognitive vitality. So you can also get in on that. Starts July 7th if you're interested in it. Here's what's included in that. If you're a senior or you feel like you just need to get your mind in shape, we'll meet twice a week. The program includes live small group sessions, brain health education, mindfulness and breathing tools, light movement activities, because this is based on about 5 different pillars. Movement is one of them. Nutrition is one of them. Neurocognitive training is one. Mindfulness is another, right? All of these are in there, and these pillars support all of this. This is supported by the National Institutes of Health in recognizing what these things are that you actually have to remain cognitively vital. So it also gives you social connection, because I'll share a statistic that comes from, I believe it's the National Institutes of Health. If you're here and you've isolated yourself from your peers because you're not functioning as well, and if you have a grandparent, if you have a parent that has isolated themselves because they're going into cognitive decline, that is, according to the NIH, the equivalent of being in isolation and away from everybody is the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day in reduction of your lifespan. Catch that. I'm going to say it again. If you're pushing yourself into isolation, it's the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes a day as far as reducing your lifespan. It doesn't have to be like that. And I only say this because my wife's mother died of dementia. My mom died of dementia. And we looked at each other and said, why are we still doing this? Why aren't we helping these people? That's Silver Minds, right? So it's the whole point of Silver Minds is to give you a cognitive hygiene that's reasonable, doable. It's not overwhelming. It's not scary. It's actually a lot of fun. And you have to figure it out. You will be in a group. You're not going to figure it out by yourself. You'll hear about brain health. You'll practice it. You'll experience it. You'll get the support. You'll be part of a large community, because we use a platform on top of that called Teachable, where you can communicate with every person in your circumstances and just say, how are you doing? And our people all are great, and they do incredibly well. So if you'd like to join us, there's still 3 simple steps. First, you can visit Silver Minds Summer Session page online. You can come to visit our Silver Minds Summer training page at Silver Minds, mysilverminds.com, mysilverminds.com. And if you're not sure, schedule a consultation. We're happy to talk with you, answer your questions about Play Attention, about Silver Minds, and making you a part of it, part of that family. That would be great. Come visit our next webinar and see Play Attention in action. Book your consult and schedule and talk and see it in real time, and actually see a person actually doing it in front of you. Thank you so much. I mean, it's just amazing when this technology that allows me to step into your kitchen or your living room or wherever you are your office and talk to you is amazing to me. Again, thank you. Have a great summertime. And we hope to talk and see and work with you soon. Take care, everyone.